Hello, good morning.
Hi friends, welcome to Thirst Trap.
What are you guys up to? I don't know what to say.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Today's a good day, you know why? Because you woke up.
Right. It's a blessing.
That
Every
sounds,
day's a
that's
blessing.
so obnoxious. You should be grateful. But no, it's real. And it's true. Cheers.
Cheers.
I like this. It's so cute.
This was $1, Dollar Tree. I'm going to promote Dollar Tree. It's bomb. I have decorated my apartment with Dollar Tree.
Oh, nice. They
$1.
have like household stuff?
Yes.
I've never been.
Yo, I mean,
That'll be
it's
next.
people in a crisis that want to decorate but don't have the money. Anyways, that was me. Hi. So this is $1 and I use it for all the seasons. It's a Christmas cup.
I think it's great.
So Christmas season, Christmas spirit all year round.
Someone posted, which I don't know if it's accurate because I didn't check, but they said it's 10 Tuesdays left until Christmas.
Oh,
Like, how did time fly like
it's
this?
so crazy.
It is crazy.
I know time flies because I have a massive amount of gray hair that I didn't have in the areas that I'm seeing. It goes by so quickly. Like the other day I was in my makeup and I was like, what in the world? And it was all around here. And I'm like, you know what?
It's wisdom.
It's wisdom. Yay. So, yeah. So today we're going to talk about feminism. And why we want to talk about it is because it's a trend. And I know that some people are going to get really offended by it. But, yeah, so we want to discuss why we don't agree with it. Now, everybody's entitled to their own opinions and we respect them, but yeah, I feel like God revealed the root behind feminism and showed me that I was a feminist. I didn't want to call it that at the time because, you know, prideful women. Me, not now, but yes, me. So yeah, so Wendy would like to read.
Okay, yes. So we looked up the definition of feminism, which is the advocacy of women's right based on the basis of equality of the sexes. And okay, so what is that, right? We talk about women's right often, I think, in today's society because everybody always wants to defend something. Like everybody has this defensive attitude, and whatever they pick and choose, like whatever angle they choose, it's still this sense of like, well, I have to fight and stand up for something, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's good to take a stand for things. I don't think it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's honorable, you know, because a lot of times people are scared to take, you know, a stand for anything, and they're just like wishy-washy, like, I don't know. But it's just there's a way to do it. There's a way to say no, but I think that, you know, men and women should be equal. I think that too. I don't see why not. But I also feel that there's a reason why we are created differently. There's a reason why women are different than men. And so we just have to understand where we stand, where we should position ourselves so that men and women can be equal and live happily alongside. Yeah, exactly.
Unity.
Alongside with one another. Like, it's not going to help or you know, add on to her or me or them or him if we're constantly fighting. Like, that's not going to help. That's not going to get you where you want to go. That's not going to get you where you want to go.
So yeah, so I wanted to look up how equal are we really? Because I'm like, I mean, because I have these random thoughts. It's literally, it's always those long shower thoughts where you're like, wait a minute. So yeah, so women run billion-dollar businesses. Women are in construction. Women are fighters, MMA fighters, boxers. There are women that serve in the army. There are women that are truck drivers, mechanics, plumbers, technicians. We can do anything a man does. Like, how much more equal can we get? The only thing that's not equal is that, granted, a man is going to be strong in certain areas and a woman's going to be strong in other areas. We give birth to babies.
My upper body strength is just not there yet where it needs to be.
We give birth to babies.
We do.
And I've heard men say, I could never do what a woman does in regards to giving birth to a child.
Yeah.
You know, but if I see a man doing construction, I'm like, you know, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't want to.
I'm like,
I'll stay in the kitchen and cook, you know. And I've had an experience where God revealed to me, like, you see why you shouldn't have such a prideful, independent spirit, because I was a feminist, and you know, like I had all the traits. I didn't feel comfortable letting a man pay for me. I really didn't.
Yeah.
It made me feel uncomfortable letting a man take care of me in general because I felt like I owed him. I didn't see myself taking my husband's last name. I felt like me giving myself in that way to a man, like I was losing myself in a marriage and like a unity, and I felt like I was losing my power, which means that it was just a root of pride.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
I saw a video of this really she's like, she stands for biblical sass. She's really sassy.
I love that.
She's a blonde chick, and she's really big into politics. And she posted a video of a feminist having lunch with a man, and she was just so defensive. And what I saw was just hurt and pain. You know, when a woman is so defensive towards a man, and she's just like, she has to fight for these rights that she already has.
Yeah.
That means that somebody must have hurt her. You know, it all comes from a root of pain and anger. But who planted that pain and anger? And I could say for myself, when I was defensive towards a man, it was because somebody hurt me really badly. A lot of men would like put me down, which is just a reflection of how they were raised. You know, because a lot of the things that we do are learned behaviors, so we can't judge anybody, because when you go,
it's like all they know.
It's all you know. So when you have years and years and years of learning something, it's gonna take time for you to unlearn it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, you know. So like, and then also I was raised by a single father who raised me like a boy. So, and he would always tell me, I am molding you into the woman that every man wants. And yeah, that's great, because a man in the beginning loves an independent woman. But for long-term things like a marriage, you cannot be independent. You cannot have an independent spirit. That's when you literally lay down your life, and you lay down your pride and your ego to the side, and you just serve the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life. You know. So as a single woman, I do want to take care of myself, but not to the extent where I won't let a man be a man if we are in a relationship, if we are going into a marriage. Yeah. Sometimes we're so independent that I got it. I got the bill. Oh, you know, like I can pay this.
Oh, like,
you think I can't pay for this? You know, and it's just like, no.
Why do we get like that?
And then we wonder why, like, and then we say chivalry is dead.
Right.
Granted, in certain areas, chivalry is dead. But if there's a man that wants to be chivalrous and wants to pay for you and wants to, let him be a man, because it makes them feel good that they could take care of you. You know? Yeah. And I'm talking about the men that are mature. I'm not talking about little boys. So men that like, I'm talking about a man that's ready to be a man. He wants to take care of the woman that he loves. Yeah. He is, you know, like,
for the right reasons.
If you guys haven't seen our last video, a man wants sex, food, and respect. And he wants respect, as in he wants to feel like a man. He wants to know that he got you, because that's your job. You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because I think that many times women try to prove themselves.
Right.
They have to prove themselves. No, but I can do this too. But it's like, girl, it's okay. You don't have to. It's fine.
Right.
And it's not to say that you can't do it. Right. But it's just different roles. We play different roles. The same way that a hand is not supposed to do what an ear does, the same way, you know, women are supposed to do certain things, and then the men are supposed to do something else. You know, someone once told me, they said, yeah, men might be the head, right? But women are the neck. And so
we turn it where we want.
Exactly. Because really, truly, speaking of mature men will understand how to respect a woman. A mature man will understand that, you know what, we are making decisions together, you know, and just because you're listening to somebody else's advice, or just because you may submit to somebody else's opinion, doesn't mean that they're more powerful than you. Not at all. Right. But it gets twisted because we so desperately want to prove ourselves.
It's society. Like, society ruins everything. And like, just people coming together, giving opinions, and it's like, and it's all toxic, you know. And then we turn against each other, when in reality there should be unity, because like she said, your job is this, your job is that. It's okay. Women can do just as much as a man does.
Absolutely. If not more.
If not more, we can give birth to a child.
We give birth to babies.
I saw a foot coming out of a woman's vagina.
She showed me pictures.
She didn't want to see it. I saw a woman pulling out a child out of her vagina. You know, like there's so like a man sees that and he's like, no, you know what? I'd rather do construction. I'd rather do the plumbing. You know.
But you know, you'll be surprised. So this is a side note, but it proves a point because you know we're part of the rock churches, right? Whatever. So when we were getting the buildings initially, the church was built on women. On the backs of women that works hard. They built walls, they tore down walls, they laid concrete, they fixed the roofs, they painted, they put, you know, the floors down. Women did this.
Right.
Until the men started coming into the church,
It was
women.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's incredible. And even like, you know, a lot of the people, like the men that were here from the very beginning, they were like, yo, like these women are crazy. They will get down and get dirty, work and plow. You know, it's not that women can't do it.
Right.
You know, and so just because somebody else is taking on something doesn't mean that they're telling you that you're incapable of it. That's not what it means at all. But you know, women, I guess it's pride. You know, it's insecurities. Pride. People feel like they're being attacked, and now they feel like they're offended because so and so said this and this. But it's like, honey, you're fine. You're good. You don't have to prove yourself. You know, don't be insecure. And I know it's easier said than done, because of, you know, just like you said, it's this picture that society paints up that, you know, women are supposed to be like this and men are this, and somehow it's
the
just
woman stays
unequal.
in the kitchen, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, but women are so much, you know, are less than. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can be a strong woman and still be able to submit to a man.
Yeah, exactly. Like being able to submit. I was not good
That
at
shows
that.
strength to be able to submit. I think
Humility, a lot of humility.
Yeah.
And not just a man, just in like if you're having a conversation, man or woman, and they're saying some facts, just be able to say, no, you're right.
I know.
You know.
But that's hard to say. Like, no, it doesn't have to be hard, but for some people it is hard. Like, I know for me it wasn't easy to be like, okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because even if I would do it, I'm like,
no, I mean, I was in a long-term relationship, and he would say facts, but because his tone was so mean and he so like, oh, I'm the man, you know, I didn't want to listen to him. I was like, shut your mouth. So yeah, no, after we broke up, I was like, oh, he was so right about this. Oh, he was so right about this. Oh man, he was so wise. Wow. And I was not wise at all, but it was just, I don't know, like, you know, God really convicted me because I was living with this gentleman, and he had to go away for long periods of time for work, and I was all alone. So this was before I wanted to be, what's that word? Before I decided to serve Christ. So I'm alone, and I had to fix my couch. She loves the story. So I had to fix my couch because I had to dismount it to fix the covers and whatever, and I had to, like, I've never dealt with tools, you know? So now I'm like putting this couch together, and I'm literally under this couch for 4 hours, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, this is really hard. This would have taken him 30 minutes, and I'm like, I just want to be in the kitchen, and I already placed myself in the kitchen, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to just raise kids, and like, but it was so easy. Like for him, he would have finished it quickly. For me, it took like 4 hours, and I'm like, and then God's like, you see, this is why you shouldn't feel this way of feeling independence. Everybody has their own role. Yeah. You know, and like we're supposed to complement one another.
Yes.
You know, and society and marriages and friendships and all, like we're supposed to complement one another, and not be in competition all the time. You know, that doesn't bring any peace to anybody.
You know, it's funny because when you were saying that about the couch.
The couch.
That I have a friend, right? She's like this big. No offense. I love her. She's my best
She's
friend. She's
tiny?
my sister. She's super tiny. But the strength in this woman is absolutely ridiculous. She's a licensed electrician, and you put any tool in her hand, or she doesn't even need tools, and she'll make it work. She'll fix the light bulbs. She'll do everything. Like, she's literally so capable. Yet she's the girliest girl you could ever meet.
Like me?
Yeah, like, it's just, there's such a contrast in her.
The most girliest. Okay, continue.
But there's like, I'm just saying, one thing doesn't have to substitute something else.
Right.
It really doesn't. And I think it's just important that we know who we are, regardless of if you're a woman or a man. I get it. Like, things are going to be thrown at you. You're going to get comments. You're going to get little smart remarks here and there. But if you know where you stand and you're sure of yourself and you're, you know who you are, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
It really doesn't matter the circumstances. It doesn't matter who's around you. It doesn't matter who tries to say what. It really doesn't.
It doesn't, but it takes a lot of reflection as a woman.
Yes.
To be confident in herself, to know that people's opinions do not faze her.
Yeah.
You're rooted and grounded in your truth.
Yeah.
And you don't need to impress anybody.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I've had men tell me what's that word? Challenge me, like, you can't make more money than me. And I'm like, watch me. But you see, that's where it all started, besides the fact that I was a kid and I was raised differently. But that's where it like started to grow, to manifest, was having a man challenge me in that way, like, you can't do this and a lot of men do that, and we can't look at them as they're the enemy. It's just they were raised to think that way. We can't, we just have to ignore them, literally. And the family structure that God created was that the man is the head of the household. But it doesn't mean that because he's the head of the household, he needs to control, manipulate, or abuse his wife. In fact, the Word of God says that men should treat their wives like the weaker vessel. Not like she's weak, but we're women, we're emotional. So a man, our husbands could tell us something that could really break our spirits because we love this man. We don't want to be spoken in a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a woman should submit to her husband, and it's both submitting to each other.
Yes.
But
exactly.
God is aware that women are more sensitive in certain areas than men are. And like, I was thinking about this analogy, because I'm always with analogies. So let's say there's a serial killer on your block, and he's just breaking into houses, and you're a feminist. You're a Lola. I'm talking about before Christ. Yeah. And I'm in bed with my husband, and I hear a sound. You really think I'm gonna want to be like, I got this, papi? No, I'm not. I'm gonna be like, babe, you hear that? You handle that. And it's so funny because a lot of the times when there's danger, who's the first one in the line? A man.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to face the sound that I'm hearing
Yeah.
with this serial killer. It's probably not a serial killer, but
Right.
that's just an example that I'm giving out.
Yeah.
If I'm so yeah, so no, I'd rather just let the man be a man. In fact, I will encourage you to be a man. Use that testosterone, boy. Use all of it. Yes. I'll use my estrogen, and you use your testosterone. You take care of the household. So that's the family structure that God created. But it wasn't. But it's what people do. Society does is that they take the Word of God and they completely mess it up, and they just make it into this whole big thing. And then we, people that don't know God, get offended when that's not the intentions that He had for us.
Exactly.
He was just looking out for us, where He is creating a unity in the family.
Yeah.
And I noticed when I was a feminist creature, and I don't let the man be a man. Now the man's pride, sense of worth is broken down because I won't let him be a man. Yeah. I won't let him pay the bills. I won't let him pay. So now he feels less.
Yeah. It's so interesting, like what we find value in. Like for me, because I'm like, okay, I understand how a man would feel that.
Yes.
Because of how a woman would react or respond to whatever's happening. But the fact that your value lies in that, it's so crazy. Like our human minds it's like a roller coaster.
Right.
You know, it's crazy. And it's true because I feel like men do that and they're not always aware of it.
Right.
You know, because I mean, I would like, maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think it's all men, obviously, but I see it often that men doesn't want to tap into their emotions and how they really feel about it. And so what happens is that because they're not fully tapped into themselves and connected with whatever they're feeling, I'm not saying to be wrapped up in your emotions and be all emotional and, you know, let your emotions get the best of you. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to be aware of it so that you can address it, so that it can come out and you can get it out of your system. Because they don't always get it out of their system, they start treating women, you know, unfairly.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know, and I really, because they
let the
themselves
anger stir up.
Exactly, and they take it out in the wrong manner, and so then that in turn causes the pain in women or the people around them.
Right.
And it's just like, it's so unnecessary.
It's just an ongoing cycle of sadness and depression and anger, you know, and it's just so unnecessary.
It really is, because if you see the opposite side, it's like, okay, if a woman can submit and a man can submit, and they both submit to one another and say, okay, I'm going to hear you out. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I'm going to hear your point, and then you're going to hear my point. Not hear it to have a comeback. You know, I'm like, don't come back here and clap back at me like, I'm gonna have.
What is it? The clapping thing that you
the
did?
clapping back. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. And make sure that you know what I want to say, that I get my point across, and I'm gonna be right because you need to know that I'm right. And we're not interested in hearing what they have to say.
What is so funny is that to all my New Yorker friends, you know, you're from New York City when you get angry and you literally start clapping and you're like, wow. Like I had a situation where I was arguing with one of my friends and I was just trying to really get into the spirit of God, and that was a true test. Like this was like 2 months ago, and we were like, you told me. It's not like that anymore, but it's funny because we actually do, you know, and then when it's a man, we get more defensive because we got to show that we're more manlier, you know. Yeah. Which is not.
It's unnecessary, guys.
It truly is. So feminism for us, it comes from pain, hurt, you know, and just being abused by the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And we take things out of hand, and we like do some other things that aren't good, and you know, we shouldn't put more wood into the fire. Like so just because a man treats you this way, as women, we're supposed to be the wise ones. We should not feed into their issues. That's where we show true strength. When we could listen to a man talk down on us and we're like
I feel sorry for you.
where we're like, I'll pray for you, friend. So
it's true. I agree with that 100%. Like true strength isn't in fighting back in that way. Or being defensive in that way. That's not, you know. For me, it was because I should have. My grandma used to tell me, you could have been a good lawyer, because let me tell you, I could do it. I'm good with arguments because I don't know. I don't know what it is. Not anymore. Now I just really don't care. But when I was like, especially a man that's like challenging, who's like really smart, I want to get into an intellectual conversation with him, but I get excited. My tone gets higher, and you know, people look at it as if I want to argue, but I really don't. I just want to be challenged. But that's different. That's different. I think that's
learning who you could be that way with. Because then they'll look at it as this girl over here trying to be a feminist with her freaking independent self, independent personality, and it's just like, oh, no, friend. So yeah, God just wants to look out for you in your marriage, and He gave us roles for a reason. But
two is better than one.
Two is better than one, because if one falls down, the other one can pick you up.
Yeah.
But clearly, we could do anything a man does. In fact, more, because like I said, there was a foot coming out of the person's vagina. So clearly, we can do a lot more. You know, foot. There's a tiny foot coming out of the vagina. She pulled out. I'm sorry. Clearly, I was like, I'm gonna postpone this childbirth life for later on. I don't want a foot coming out of my vagina. So yeah. So if you guys have any questions,
if you have any questions,
prayer requests,
thoughts, feelings, concerns.
What is it? We said questions. Opinions. So
let us know. We're here for you. We're here for you. And on that note, see you next Thursday.
See ya.